make an approval for Loudon to be assistant softball coach.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And lastly, for personnel, Joe Clifford to be the middle school track head coach.
I'll make the motion to make Joe Clifford the middle track head coach.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 4 is claim docket. Members of the board received the claim docket prior to the meeting. Review.
I'll make a motion to accept the claim docket.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'll receive the balance sheet as information. Number 6, school attorney.
I am seeking approval to hire Bill Kaminsky of Newby, Lewis, and Kaminsky and Jones to be our school attorney.
I'll make the motion to start having him as our attorney.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Number 7 is public comment on agenda items. Public comments or questions will be noted by the board and superintendent, but will not conduct dialogue during the meeting. Following discussion through phone call, email, or scheduled meeting can be arranged through the superintendent's office. This will allow us to focus on school business on behalf of students and staff, as well as provide better information to our public after time to research. Thank you for your understanding. Is there any public comment tonight?
I got a question, this new attorney in relation to the one we had, the lady,
Yes.
thank you.
Question about, next month's meeting, is it going to be here also?
No,
Is that
typo, it'll be
typo?
LaCrosse.
Okay.
Any other public comment tonight?
I apologize for not knowing everybody, I'm Coach Snyder, baseball coach. In regards to your vote, everything happened, I appreciate all of you, I talked to everybody. I am deeply opposed to the decision that was made. Reasons why are, to me, super simple. If she's gonna get fired, as my daughter and also as a coach, and I believe I should as well. I taught her. I believe in what she does. I believe in my kids, I believe in her kids. There's 2 here. I love those 2 and my boys like they're my own. That's how we coach. There's not always gonna be agreement, and I don't really ask for opinions on that. That's how we do things. But the bottom line, I've coached, me and Coach Snodgrass are probably the eldest as far as coaching experience. I left a school earlier because I was told that if I had to make a choice between jeopardizing what was best for the school or what was best for a kid, what would I do? I said I'd choose the kid every time, hands down. That's why I'm here. I coach baseball, not because of baseball, not because of the trophies, but because I love kids. And I feel, as a coach, it's my job to mentor them, help them become better people, help them become better men. In this case, girls. I've tried to help them as well. But that's our job. I know if I get that, I know if they believe in me, that they'll play for me. It's pretty simple. I honestly did not ever want to coach again after I heard that comment, because any school that says that to me, I don't even want to be there. Every person that's in charge of a school should be for the kids first, period. Whether it's a teacher, whether it's an administrator, school board, a coach, even the janitor, it doesn't matter. It's all about the kids, period. And that's how I've always been. That's how I've coached. That's why I've been successful. I know it is. I have abilities to coach. I can go coach wherever I want. That's fine. I chose to be here. The reason I chose back in 1990, whatever it was, when I came here the first time, I was asked to come for an interview, I chose not to go. I got called again the next day by Dick Booker, I chose to go. I honestly went to the field and said, do I really even want to attempt this? It was the worst field around. It's now arguably the best field around. But when I went to the meeting, I honestly wasn't listening until somebody said, if you ever jeopardize it, and it wasn't somebody, it was Dick Booker, if you ever jeopardize the school's name because you did it for the betterment of a kid, we will support you publicly. We may tell you behind the scenes how to do it differently, but we want you to be for the kids. And when I heard that, I immediately said, I'll coach. I didn't need anything else. I didn't care what it paid. I didn't care. I still don't care. I honestly can't even tell you what I get, what I make. I don't care about that. I care about the kids. When I came back, all I was asked is, are you going to be the same coach you were before? Which my reply was yes, and it was welcome. And I made that decision. I feel my son was at South Central from K through 4. He came here as a 5th grader, now 6th grader. Every time he drove by this school, he could not wait to come here. That's all he talked about. Could not wait. Now he can't wait to leave. And I want to know why. I want to know why. I want to know why half his class feels that way when I talk to them. Why? I want to know. If enrollment's going down, there's a reason. It's not just because of this, that, and the other. There's a lot of reasons, I'm sure. But I know in my heart that my kids, this one, I know this dad's kid, they play for me because I love them. And they know I do. And that I've got their back. And it's not always pleasant, correct? I'm like a dad to them. For 2 hours, I get to be that. And it's to me, that's special. And I know, without a doubt, she did the same thing. I did a radio show this year. I was the first guy on. The winning that coach said, I can't believe how well that program's turned around. I told the girls last year, after we played them, can't believe it. It's not about that then. It's not about that. If this is about the kids, I'm in. But if it's not, I don't want to be in. I'm here for the kids. The baseball coaching positions and softball are the worst two in the school, if done correctly. I don't get everything and I just go out and do something. I got to work year round on the field. If any of you have seen it, you know that's true. I work year round on that field. I work on getting my kids into college. We had 2 go this year. I'm extremely proud of. That's not a paid thing. And who cares? I mean, it's a nickel an hour. It's for the love of the kids. My age, it's not for the love of the game. I love baseball. I know it inside and out. But I love these kids way more. And I think we need to step back and we really need to look. I'm a coach of baseball. I can teach it. But these kids will never, ever play for me like they should or could if they know in their heart I don't really care. And that's what we bring to the table. I taught her. So again, that's all I have to say. But I know from not only being her dad, I've been to her practices. I know how tough they are. My boys beg me not to make them do what they do. The girls do. I know what it is. But, if there's a point where anything becomes bigger than the kids, whether it's a school, whether it's an addition, whether it's a basketball game or a baseball game or a track meet, that's when I have to step aside. Because that's not what we're here for. Nobody is here for that. We have to be for them, whether it's a teacher or whoever it is. These kids, honestly, I talk to them all the time. Half the teachers, they don't believe care. Who knows that? I do. Somewhere along the line, we have to make that decision as the people that are in charge. I have a very small part. I have 2 hours a day, that's what I get, or 2.5, whatever it may be, to try to mold them and to make them into better people. But all of us combined have 8, 10 hours a day. And I know in my heart that when kids know they're cared about, that's when they're going to come here. That's the difference. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment tonight?
Good evening. My name's Ron Heminger. My son Caden is a senior at LaCrosse. He plays baseball for Mr. Snyder. I want to speak tonight just on behalf that, I know what 2 other school systems are like as opposed to yours. We live in Washington Township. Both my boys went there. Caden went up there until about 8th grade. My other son went there until 7th. And they both got transferred to Valparaiso High School. And then my oldest graduated from there, and Caden now obviously is at LaCrosse. Washington Township, Valpo, they're bigger schools. They're not better. I've witnessed and had to go through hours and days of meetings with the superintendents and the teachers for bullying. Some of the teachers were bullying my kids. My oldest, the 2.5 years old, he was diagnosed as type 1 diabetic. It means for the rest of his life, his body will never produce enough insulin to keep him alive. Basically, to Washington Township, it was a joke. I had to battle with him from kindergarten to 2nd grade. We had to write a letter to the teacher saying that the other kids won't get infected because he's diabetic. We brought in healthcare providers from Riley's Children's Hospital. They were mocking him. My wife, since we live by the school, she'd drive by the playground, see kids beating kids, call the schools, and they're like, why are you calling us? This is what we've experienced in 2 other school systems. We got to the final result. My son, Caden, big kid, wants to play baseball. Went to all the tryouts, went to all the practices, didn't make it. Why? I'm not a doctor, not a lawyer. That's Valpo, that's politics. But then he's walking down the hallway. The only other person there is the coach at Valpo High School. Doesn't even acknowledge him, won't even say hi to him. Fortunately for us, and not for everybody else, COVID hit. That allowed Caden to transfer schools. And right away, he met Jesse over the summer, and I got to meet John. John was telling me about all the good things about LaCrosse. I got to meet Coach Snyder, and again, got to know him. Right away, Caden's like, Dad, I want to switch schools. Sophomore year, all the new friends, new school, everything's going great. But for him to want to pick up and leave, to come to another school, basically knowing one person, he was ready to do it. And I admired him for doing it. And once I started to meet everybody in the community, how well they welcomed him, they welcomed us, I'm like, I'm really glad this is where he's going to finish his high school career. I don't know what happened. It's not I'm not, judge, jury here. And I know life's not fair. And sometimes bad things happen to good people. But the same token, I kind of go on the back of Mr. Snyder's, it is got to be about the kids. I've seen too many things over and over again where we're not doing the best thing for our kids. Maybe we're trying to get them through school, and I know Valpo, all they're trying to do is get them into college. You're not going to college? Oh, well, tough. There's other avenues for kids to have a successful and happy life. And if we're not teaching them that, if we're not teaching the fundamentals, and even if we're not teaching them right and wrong and fair and decent, I really think we're doing them a disservice. Again, I'm speaking more on behalf of a parent that's been in 2 other school systems and just gonna tell you my experience. But from what I thought I knew and what I believe I do know about this school is you guys have an edge. You're a smaller school, right? You have an opportunity to really touch these kids, touch the community, really make an impact on their lives. Don't lose that. Really don't lose that. There is no community in Valpo. Again, if you're not part of the clique, you're not part of whatever, you're just on the outside looking at it. So again, just please, whatever you do moving forward, this decision, just think about the kids, think about what you guys do have and try to keep it that way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jersey.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder.
I'm going to stay seated, but I am Jersey Bartels, and I am currently a senior at LaCrosse. I wrote this down, so I would like to read it off, if that's okay. I want to start off by saying I love the school and the administration, but like many others, I believe it is flawed, and there is room for improvement. I was told that my coach was fired because she did not fit the school's philosophy. What is that philosophy? Oh my gosh. Philosophy, exactly. Sorry. What happened is so much more than just softball and more than me being upset that my coach was fired. There is no consistency in the administration and students feel unheard. I have no doubt that the administration did what they thought what was best for us students and athletes, but why do we not get a say in what's best for us? A good high school A good high school coach is not just someone who shows up and just coaches a sport. A good coach supports you in everything that you do. They are someone who has your back even if you don't have theirs. They are someone you can trust. They show you how to be a leader on and off the court, field, or track. They try to help you be the best version of you. That is what athletes here need, and not even just athletes, but also students. My softball coach, Alex McMillan, was all of those things and more. She came in and showed us that we deserve more than the bare minimum. Sorry. Her philosophy as a coach is players first and softball second. That means our physical and mental health came before anything. She is continuously showing her support for every single one of her players, whether it is on or off the field. That's how important we are to her. That should be the type of philosophy the school should have when finding a coach or staff member. I know many students, myself included, who feel we have been wronged by the administration in some way. Some situations are taken very seriously while others are not. As a student, you see the inconsistency in the administration happening all around you, whether it's affecting you or not. At the end of the day, students just want to be heard and know that we are actually being listened to. They all want to see a positive change for the school moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Jersey.
Any other public comment tonight? Hearing none, move on to number 8, contracted dietitian service.
Seeking approval for, to contract through our educational service center for dietitian services. That would help us with, creating the menus and making sure we meet all the regulations. Every year, this one's no exception, they're adding more and more regulations. So I think that's, the service center provides this for $4,500 a year, and I think that would be money well spent for us.
Did we do that last year?
We used to do it, we have not done it for the previous, I believe, and that's only 3 or 4 years.
Who makes the menus now?
Annette makes them currently, but that again, they've just added so many regulations to proteins, how much sodium, this and that. Many of the NESIC schools in the Educational Service Center Cooperative are using the dietitian services.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 9 is the Tremco roofing update for information.
Yeah, so we visited this once a year ago. Todd Winkleiter came and gave a presentation to the board. And basically Scott and I met with him recently, and I wanted to update that in your packet so you just kind of see where some pricing is and what he's provided this time. And we're not gonna get down into the weeds on it, but if you look at the page I have numbered 30, you will see for the Wanatall roof here, there are 8 different sections, and he gives some breakout pricing. And based on the budget that Mr. Ritchie and I have put together, if we chose to, in the next few months, to get on the schedule with them, we've got an amount budgeted for the 2 smaller pieces. Again, looking at page 30, he's identified 3 of the 8 roofs that they recommend a restoration process immediately. We could take on 1 or 2 of those, the smaller portions. The biggest surface of roof is not something we currently have in the budget. But again, I'll remind you that through their checking with the infrared, all of our insulation is dropping at both locations. So we have a little bit of time. Again, that whole idea, as you know, as we wait, the price increases. We just have to kind of keep this in front of us and decide if we're gonna start taking small bites out of it, so that we don't get to a point where we have to do it all at once.
So you're talking about roof section 1 and roof section 3?
That's correct. we would be able to, actually, if you're looking at page 30, it's number 4 and 5.
Oh. Oh, okay.
4 and 5 would be, we would be able to do those two if we chose to. Now, at this point, if I initiated that with Trimco, it's probably not happening until 23 in actuality, just with supply chain. But we will revisit that, but I just wanted to get that back out into the packet. And then page 34 tells you the restoration process for the roof on the Tiger tent and what kind of dollars we'd be looking at there. So that was just for information. And the last part for information, I believe it was last month, we got approval on next year's calendar. And within that same week, the legislation tagged on to House Bill 1093 that they decided to limit the schools to 3 e-learning days. I have not brought the calendar back for any changes, quite frankly, because now we're in the process of language interpretation. What are those 3 days? Are they scheduled e-learning days? What meets, so I don't have enough information. I talked with Alyssa a little bit, Brian, that right now I haven't decided to change it. We may not decide to change it. And if they ultimately do hold us to 3 e-learning days next school year, we might have to tack days on at the end if we were to have a rough winter. But that's down in the bottom of that House Bill language.
Any questions on any of that? Go ahead, board. Principal's report.
Early in March, we had our IRE 3 test. I can't give you guys the exact numbers, they're still embargoed of how many percentage of kids have passed. But remember, we had our second grade kids take it as well this year. I will tell you that our second graders did extremely well on it. And the ones that passed do not have to take it then in third grade. They're done, and our third graders did quite well. So when those numbers are not embargoed anymore, I'll share those with you guys. We had kindergarten roundup the third week of March. We had 18 at roundup, and there's 7 additional kids that are in our pre-K program right now that have siblings here that haven't signed up yet. We're able to make it that night, so we're making contacts with them. So right now, kindergarten could be 24, 25 next year. As of right now, we usually get more in June and July. So that's up from last year. Website, we had our website training at the end of March, right before spring break. Mrs. Clemens, Mrs. Hughes, Mrs. Wozniak, Mr. Shepard, Mr. Kishkowski, and myself. The plan right now is the new 2 websites will go live May 1st. We will start iLearn at the end of the month for 3rd grade through 8th grade. Moana Junior, we will have the play. It was supposed to be in March, but we had to move it and reschedule it, so it will be next Friday and Saturday. And Mrs. Clemens and Mrs. Lance are working on Enrichment Day activities right now for May 13th for our kindergarten through 8th grade, so we're gonna try to get more of the high schoolers here again to help out with that. And then on April 1st, that last day before spring break, K through 5 had Jamaican Me Read Day. And it was just a day of reading for all of our kids, and they did different activities in here. And so kids had a lot of fun, and it went really well. So that's all I got.
Thanks.
Superintendent's report.
Just wanted to let you know that we've got bus inspection coming up on May 4th. So I will be able to report in May on how our fleet did on bus inspection. That's all I have.
Number 13, Melanie.
I make a motion to adjourn. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next meeting will be May 10th at 6 at LaCrosse School.
Yes, let me point that out again. I did forget to change the one at our school. Next month is at LaCrosse.